What's up, everybody? This video is about fighting back. I talked about that a couple videos ago, and I've been working my butt off out here, and I feel like a farmer almost. I'm planting seeds, and it's gonna take a while for them to grow, and I'm not getting paid or anything like that. But I'm out here working, and some of my work or some of my seeds I've been planting, I've been coming back a little bit. I got a very interesting call today from an absolute legend, one of my heroes, the Duke of Fremont Street. He called me today, and we had a nice conversation. If you don't know who the Duke of Fremont Street is, take a look.
You only have one shot at making a first impression, so shoot to kill.
The first time I saw Duke, I wondered, what the hell is this?
He's like a fictional character in real life.
This is not an act. This is how he is every day, all day.
Salute. I live life in the shadows sometimes.
Duke comes from a bygone era where gentlemen were gentlemen and ladies were ladies.
I remember when Vegas was run by respectable men that were very serious men.
The Duke fully embodies the spirit of Las Vegas.
I came for the poker game, but now I play this game of life.
You think all his stories are fake.
They're not. The walls were splattered with blood.
He's not a full of shit guy. He is what he is.
Bad decisions make interesting conversation.
So yeah, he gave me a call today, and we've talked on the phone a few times. I've found out who he was last year. He's obviously a local silver dealer, precious metal dealer, but he's a legend out here. He's just an absolute legend for many reasons. But one of his passions is precious metals in this country. And so he called me today, and I was just, my sleep pattern's been really messed up, and I was about to go to sleep. This is the middle of the day, and I seen his number pop up, and anytime he calls, of course I'm going to answer. And I said, "Hey, Duke, how you doing?" He said, "Good." He said, "Hey, man, I've been watching your videos." And I knew, he subscribed to me and everything, but, I was really happy to hear that, and then he tells me that I'm doing a great job, he says. I'm fighting a good fight and keep up what I'm doing. I'm not going to tell you everything we talked about, but basically he says, you're making me proud, and you're fighting a good fight, and I really appreciate what you're doing, man. And I got to say this, I cannot tell you what that means to me. I can't even put it into words. Of course I can see the Duke anytime. I can call him. We've done some deals. Actually, we're gonna go do a deal tomorrow. I may try to interview him. I don't know, because he says he's not really doing any YouTube videos anymore, a lot for his own personal reasons. But I'm gonna get some Mercury dimes from him tomorrow. But it just I don't know. It's one thing to look up to an athlete or an actor or some kind of entertainer, but it's another thing to look up to somebody that's in your industry. And this guy has been in this industry for over 50 years. He's in his 70s, and he's been selling precious metals for a very, very long time. And he, basically believes in everything that I believe in as far as this country and the Constitution matters. I'm very proud to know the Duke. And let me tell you guys something real quick. If there's an older person that you want to meet, and you see him on TV and stuff, because everything is like very close now. The world is so small because of the internet. If you have somebody that you want to meet and you want to talk to them, make sure you talk to them, you know what I mean, before they go, because everybody expires. I just happen to be very, very fortunate to live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and, the Duke lives here. And a lot of, I see a lot of quote unquote celebrities. I see him, every week when I go to the casinos or whatever, you see him all the time, and you almost get numb to it. But when a man that's in my industry tells me that I'm doing a good job and keep fighting a good fight, that just inspires me. And you guys inspire me too. And thank you so much for saying that, Duke, and thank you for the phone call, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow or today. Another one of my heroes is Robert Kiyosaki. He's the one that got me started onto the the financial situation where you're looking to get out of the rat race and everything. He's the one that actually inspired me to get out of the rat race, and I have been for quite a while. And I think I thank him for writing one of the greatest books ever written, and everybody knows it's Rich Dad Poor Dad. He was recently on London Real, and they had a really good interview. And I want to go through a little bit of that. So he talks about freedom and everything else. So let's go through what the great Robert Kiyosaki has to say, what's going on today, and how we need to fight against this tyranny.
Well, it goes back to education.
Yeah.
Like when my Sunday school teacher said, what made the three wise men wise? She says, they always sought the best teacher. And today, with the power of YouTube and what we're doing today, this gives you access to some of the best teachers in the world. Like you have Jim Records on. I'm going, he's a great teacher. Yeah. He's my teacher.
Yeah.
Well, Robert, you're one of my teachers. You know what I mean? You're one of my first teachers and a lot of people's teachers. And it's so crazy. I didn't know about gold and silver. And I said I didn't invest until I was 45 years old in the year 2020. And when I say I didn't know about gold and silver, I really didn't investigate it. But I lied because I did know about it. Robert Kiyosaki talked about it in Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now, he was saying it. I didn't understand what he was saying about gold and silver. But basically, he was saying when you save money, savings for losers. And I didn't understand that process. What do you mean savings for losers? Because I had a savings account. I had IRAs and stocks and all these different things. I had some real estate too. I just didn't understand what he meant by that. But now I do, because he was talking about inflation back then. He said savers are for losers. You need to buy gold and silver. And I didn't listen to him. Then years later, I think it was in the early 2000s, maybe 2013 or 14. I forget what year it was. He was talking about Bitcoin. He's a big Bitcoin maximalist. He loves Bitcoin. And he was talking about it. And I'm like, again, what in the hell is he talking about?
Bitcoin is important. It's going to crash. I think if it goes to 27,000 a coin, I'm going to back up the truck. I'm going to buy more. Because I'm very optimistic about Bitcoin.
And I didn't get involved with it. And boy, was I sorry for that. So, yeah, we need both. And he talks about that. He talks about precious metals being God's money and Bitcoin being the people's money, and we got to fight together.
Honestly, I'm 11 years in this on London Real, Robert, and part of this it's me seeking teachers. I have the best seat in the house. I always joke, if the cameras were off, I wouldn't care because I get the best education I've ever had in my life. And I went to some great schools. I spent 4 years at MIT studying mechanical engineering. It was great, but I'll take 4 years in this chair over that any day of the week because I get the best in the world. And the good news is everybody else can watch, but I do get the greatest education. So it's a good point, Robert. We want to always seek a teacher. And with YouTube these days, they're out there. You can find them.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've learned, I always make a joke. I've learned more on YouTube in sometimes in a day than I did in 12 years at grade school. I really have, because, they don't teach you at school that's ran by the you-know-whos. They don't teach you how to learn. They teach you what to learn. And that's not the way to go. And they don't teach us about this. They don't teach us about the real money, I've learned so much on YouTube. It's ridiculous. Every single day, my goal is to learn something new and get rid of something old that I used to know. That's what you got to do. You got to learn every single day. And probably there's no better place than YouTube.
You mentioned Elon. I'm curious what you saw when you watch him go into Twitter. First of all, treat it like a business. So he sacks half the people, he's cutting costs, then exposing everything with the Twitter files. Some said he didn't buy a company, he bought a crime scene. What have you made of all of that? For me, it's been very entertaining to watch him walk in there and take a flamethrower to the lackadaisical attitude and the wokeness. But what do you see, Robert?
Well, again, I go back to 1965. I go to New York, I read this book here. If you read this book said what it's been 1848. And he says that communism would take over America in two stages. So stage one happened in 1930. In 1930, Berlin, the Frankfurt School, sent teachers to Columbia University, Teachers College. That was in 1930. And if you notice what happened after that, that's when I was in New York in 65, riots started to breaking out. So the students were now rioting. There was Kent State and, this and all that. So I'm watching this. This is, oh my God. So it came in two stages. That was stage one was 1930, when the teachers went to Columbia University. Today, Columbia University is the heartbed, the heat bed. It's a horrible place. It's woke, completely woke, gender bending. It's not about education anymore. It's indoctrination.
Right.
That's what school systems are about. Again, they don't want to teach you the real life stuff. They don't. And I love Ron DeSantis for that. He said he wants education, not indoctrination. All this woke stuff about transsexuals and this and that. Kids should not be learning about this stuff. But why do you think they put this in school, guys? Why do you think they're talking about all this stuff? You know why. They want women strong and men weak. Because if a bunch of strong men got smart, because they don't want us to be smart, and stood up and been strong, we could fight against this tyranny. And that's what I'm talking about, fighting back. Let's see what he says for stage two.
Stage two happened when my friend Donald Trump, this is my friend here, when he got taken down as president. That was stage two. And then I knew what Marx had written in 1848 was now true in America. But you and I have been seeing it coming all these years. And so that's why I'll say this was transformation. Will you give me $5 for this? And they'll find out how bad their education is. When they don't know why they would give me $5 for this, their education's bad. It's flawed.
Right.
Preach, Robert. Preach. When they give you $5 for a quarter and they don't know why, and they don't know what inflation is, there's a reason we're paying $5 or sometimes $6 for a quarter. We're paying $2 or $2.50, or almost $3 sometimes for dimes, depending on what time of the year it is. And what he said about Donald Trump is absolutely on point. We know what happened. We know why he was taken out and they put this guy in. We know why. And quick story, I came in Las Vegas in 2007. I was here for a real estate course that I was inspired by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. I was into real estate. It's when I first started getting into real estate. And I came to Las Vegas. I stayed at the Paris. And then my aunt lives out here, to my great aunt, my grandmother's sister. And I stayed here for 30 days because Las Vegas is my number one favorite city. Miami's my second favorite city. And I thought it was so cool. And I remember reading a book called Why We Want You to Be Rich in 2007, written by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. And they talked about all this stuff going on right now. It's happening. They basically say the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and the middle class is going away. You got to pick a side. And I remember that book specifically. And outside of my real estate class, I really didn't go anywhere. I wasn't partying or anything back then. I was just reading that book and learning as much as I can. And it got me prepared for now. Now, I didn't buy any gold and silver like an idiot. I did buy some real estate. But yeah, it's crazy how everything comes in full circle, man. I absolutely love Robert Kiyosaki.
And so were you happy to see Elon do those things to Twitter?
Well, I think, Brian, you and I are fighters.
That's right, Robert. And we're fighters on this channel. You know, I love Elon Musk for what he did. He might have saved this country, you know, and I'll make a video about that. But that's why we're doing this, guys. We are fighting because this matters. Our freedom matters. And we won't roll over. I love that, Robert.
You know, I was a U.S. Marine. Flew the gunship, killed a lot of people, lost a lot of friends. But I like fighting. I hate it when people lie down and just roll over and let people kill them. So I liked him fighting.
Sorry to keep cutting in. I just have to say this. I hate when people give up too. You know, I have some people on my channel that tell me, oh man, you can't, I try to tell people, but they're not going to listen. And, oh man, I try to do my best. And listen, if you love someone, I don't care who it is. If they were falling off a cliff or about to drown or something like that, you wouldn't do everything you can to save them? You wouldn't do that? Imagine the people back in the 1700s that were fighting against Great Britain that wrote this Constitution. All the people in the military and all the civilians and stuff like that. What if they said that? You know what? Just let Great Britain just do what they got to do, and I don't want to fight against them. Great Britain's got a big army, a big navy. They protect us. The taxes aren't that bad. Let's just sit here. And then they rolled over, and George Washington and our forefathers couldn't convince these guys to help them, and everybody rolled over. How would this country be right now? So I'm not saying you have the right to say whatever you want on this channel, obviously. But honestly, man, I don't want to hear that shit about, oh man, I tried to talk to people. I don't want to hear it, man. You know what I mean? Again, you can say what you want, but I'll be damned if I roll over. Like I said, when I tell you I'll die for this, I'm not playing.
And that was the thing I kind of learned in Vietnam that most people don't know, was that I was there for the Battle of Quang Tri when the North Vietnamese ran south. And I was watching our Vietnamese, the South Vietnamese, they turned and ran. When I saw the North Vietnamese coming down and our Vietnamese turned and ran, I remember flying back to the carrier and I sat down and I said, maybe we're on the wrong side. The question I had was, why do the North Vietnamese fight harder than our Vietnamese? And so that's why you and I are fighters. That's why we wear our suits and ties and all this, but underneath of us, we're fighting back. And we've got to fight back, Brian. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, very much so.
Makes sense to me. I know it makes sense to you guys. We'll never stop. We will never stop, because this right here matters. We know that. You know what I mean? It ain't all about money and decentralized assets and stuff like that. But it's about these men right here that fought for this. They gave their lives for this. I'll never stop fighting.
Because when the economy destabilizes, because this is fake, it's going to get worse. And then when all those top secret documents are found in Biden's thing.
Brandon, Robert. It's Brandon. Let's get the name right.
I'm going, and he takes the Keystone Pipeline offline. I'm going, and then he pulled us out of Afghanistan. So I'm a U.S. Marine. I went to military school. When he pulled us out of Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia cut a deal with Russia for oil. And so, as you know, there's a thing called the BRICS, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. It's now BRICS, BRICSS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Saudi Arabia. They got the oil. We're screwed. So that's why when Biden took us off the Keystone XL pipeline, I know that guy, he and Kamala are this. I hate to say that, but I saw it happening since I was a kid. 1965, I read this book and I go, that's what we're teaching our kids. That's my dad was teaching. So we fight back.
Yeah.
This is the biggest battle you and I will ever be in.
Damn right, Robert. The biggest battle that these guys were in, we're still living through it today. I truly believe all this tyranny, all this stuff and stuff and all this stuff and all these different things going on. This is why YouTube doesn't like me, by the way. The algos, I go against everything. All this woke stuff. We got to fight against this, man. You know what I mean? I mean, we can't just stand idly by and let this stuff go, man. We can't, telling us what to do, taking away our freedoms. This right here doesn't hardly even buy anything anymore. And then you mean to tell me that all this stuff is down? Bitcoin is only in the 20,000s. Silver's in the 20s. They're giving this shit away, man. And we got to keep buying it. We got to keep on stacking. We got to keep on fighting. And we got to stand together, guys. We have to. You guys know I'm passionate about this, man. You guys know it. I tried to do the 9-part series with the rise of Bitcoin. I did the video and then they took it down for copyrights, and rightfully so. It's not my stuff. So go and check out. I'll leave a link in the description box. The rise of Bitcoin. My Bitcoin stackers, you need to get some silver, the hardest precious metal in the world. And my silver stackers, you need to get some Bitcoin, the hardest money, period, in the world, the hardest digital money and hardest money in the world. I'll make a video about that. So
there are 62.5 million millionaires in the world. That is everything from $1 million up to $999 million. Well, 62.5 million people sounds like a lot of people. Here's a pretty stunning fact. There will never be enough Bitcoin in the world for each of these people to own just 0.33 BTC. And when we account for the millions of lost Bitcoin, that number gets even smaller. And then when we realize that there are just 2.1 million Bitcoin, even for sale, sitting on exchanges right now, that number shrinks down to 0.033 Bitcoin per millionaire. There is literally not enough BTC to go around for future demand. So my question for you, got Bitcoin?
Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with Robert Kiyosaki? Are you passionate about this country? We're going to keep fighting. Tell me what you're doing, how, and why we need to do it. All right? Please, guys, in the comment section below, do me a favor, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button. Only if you like it. If you guys like my channel and my videos, go ahead and share it. Guys, am I sharing stuff with you? I think so. Sharing my passion. Sharing a little bit of knowledge that I have. Sharing the best speakers in the world. Sharing the great Duke of Fremont Street. Can't wait to see you, brother. Thank you so much, man. You're one of my heroes. And the great Robert Kiyosaki. All right? I try to share everything up with you. I really do. And since I'm doing that, guys, the least you can do is share my videos. Because you already know, sharing is caring. You guys also know I love you very much. Guys, you're my boys, and you know that. You're my brothers. And we got to stand together as brothers. I mean that. I mean that. And I promise you, man, walk with me, and we're going to go to the promised land. And we'll never stop. Never stop. There's only a few people in this world that run this world right now, but we're gonna change that. And the people that are on the left side of the field, of the aisle, not the politicians, but the people that have been brainwashed, don't blame them. It's not their fault. They don't know any better. So what do we have to do? We got to wake them up. You know what I mean? And ask them. Say, hey, how you think Brandon's doing, by the way? Think he's doing good? I know he doesn't hurt your feelings with mean tweets and stuff, but remember Trump? He did a pretty good job. Think Ron DeSantis will do a better job? Don't let these people get fooled, man. And they're not your enemies. They're your brothers. They're just misinformed. All right? Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love.